Hello and welcome back to our session where we are getting an insight into marshalling and headset operations.
Well, Professor, looks like that aircraft is getting ready for pushback. So shall we move on to the module on headset operations? Professor, why do aircraft need pushback?
Aircraft need pushback in two cases. The first being when the aircraft is parked with nose facing the opposite direction from the taxiway. Since aircraft don't have a reverse gear, they need to be towed or pushed back to correct position. In the second case, when an aircraft is unable to start its engines due to proximity with the terminal building, which would result in jet blast damage.
Oh, looks like there is some problem. The captain has just communicated to the headset staff that a passenger is being offloaded.
As you can see, Professor, the headset staff now has to do a visual check of all doors that have been opened once again before resuming pushback operations.
Can you tell us the process involved in pushback in a little detail, Professor?
Yes, of course. Let us first see who the people involved in the pushback operation are. The cockpit staff, the headset staff, also called walkout assistants, the tow truck driver. The equipment that is used in a pushback operation include the tow truck or pushback vehicle, the tow bar, and the bypass pin.
Professor, we just saw the headset staff and the tow truck or pushback vehicle, as it is called, in position to start the pushback. And he has done a walk-around check. What is the next step of the operation?
Well, now that the tow truck is in place, the headset staff first receives confirmation from the captain that the tow bar may be connected. The tow truck staff has to ensure that the truck engines are running and he never switches it off during the operation. The headset staff then attaches the tow bar, first to the aircraft and then to the tow truck, after which he then attaches the bypass pin.
The bypass pin is a very important piece of equipment, is it not, Professor?
Yes, as once the bypass pin is inserted, steering control of the aircraft passes from the flight deck to the tow truck.
What do we mean by control passing to the tow truck, Professor?
Quite simply, it means that the bypass pin, once inserted in the nose gear of the aircraft, disconnects the aircraft from its normal steering mechanism. It reduces the mobility of the aircraft, and the aircraft movement is now controlled by the tow truck.
Is the pushback operation ready to start now, Professor?
Not so fast, Professor. The headset staff receives the all-clear signal from the wing walkers that there is no obstruction. The headset staff communicates to the flight deck that the brakes must be released and checks the brake lamp on the front strut to make sure it's off. Now, tow truck starts pushback.
When the tow truck starts pushback, the headset man has to walk alongside the tow truck at a walking pace. In case the tow truck is moving too fast, the headset man must not speed up his pace but signal to the tow truck driver to slow down. In case the communication cable comes loose for any reason, the headset man has to immediately stop the pushback operation. He signals the tow truck driver to stop. He signals to the captain for an emergency stop. He then signals to the pilot that the brakes should be set. Walks up to the aircraft and reconnects the cable. Walks back to his position and gives the thumbs up, and only then start again. When the pushback vehicle starts turning in order to turn the aircraft, the staff performing the pushback gets into the risk of entering the dragging area of engines. To reduce risk, the headset staff has to reduce his pace further and walk parallel to the tow truck. At this time, it is important to note that eye contact with the tow truck driver is not possible. The headset man needs to keep a close watch on the tow truck and remain a few steps behind it. The headset staff should always walk on the inside of the turn, whichever side the aircraft is turning during pushback. This is to avoid injury in case the tow bar swings, since the tow bar always swings to the outer side. When does the captain start engines, Professor?
Well, when the aircraft starts engines depends on several factors. The first is proximity to terminal. In case the terminal is in the direction of jet blast, then the aircraft has to be pushed back until there is a minimum of 1 aircraft distance between the aircraft and the terminal before permission can be given for startup. In case there is another aircraft boarding passengers from the left side or refueling from the right side in the direction of jet blast, permission to start engines must be given while the aircraft is turning to prevent any untoward incident due to the effects of jet blast.
Professor, doesn't the aircraft size also determine engine startup?
You are absolutely right, Professor. For a wide body, permission is given to start up only 1 engine during pushback. If we start any more engines, the power of the engines will put more weight on the aircraft body, which the tow truck will not be able to handle. It will destabilize the aircraft and may result in damage and problems like shear pin cut in the tow bar.
The weather also plays a role in determining engine startup. Remember, the tarmac, especially the yellow paint lines, get slippery during rain or snow, and the power of the engines can make the aircraft slide and result in shear pin snapping and causing damage to aircraft front strut, the tow truck, as well as cause injury to the headset staff.
In case of rain or snow, therefore, permission for engine start must be given only after the pushback operation is over.
What do we do in case there is a fire during engine startup?
Good question, Professor. The headset staff has to immediately inform the captain that there is a smoke out or a flame out, and has to inform the captain of which engine the problem is with. As soon as the captain has been informed of the problem, everyone has to follow captain's instructions only. Well, fortunately, this aircraft has no such problems and has now been pushed back to a position where it can start all its engines and proceed for takeoff.
The tow truck driver now uncouples the tow bar first from the tow truck and then from the aircraft. He then reconnects the tow bar back to the tow truck, and now the tow truck leaves.
The headset staff then takes the bypass pin back from the aircraft. Remember, the aircraft wheel turning may cause injury, so the staff has to ensure that they are standing opposite the front strut wheels. He holds the towing lever with one hand and removes the bypass pin. The headset staff then walks away from the aircraft until he reaches a position where he is at 30 degrees from the nose and turns and makes direct eye contact with the captain. He holds the bypass pin in the hand which is in the direction which the aircraft is to drive to the taxiway and shows the captain that it has been removed.